myself just the way I am, just the way I am.
And so, welcome to our Facebook family. I am Reverend Trish Hall, and we're with Center for Spiritual Living Metro. And today we are talking about loving our whole self. And I just love that little song that was just that we were playing. The lyrics of it is, I love myself the way I am. And so my question to everybody is, really? Or do you just love the parts that you like? Do you love the parts that that you think other people like? Is probably even more of a question than loving the parts that you like, because a lot of times we kind of reflect what we think other people want of us. And so when it comes to loving ourselves, the whole self, that means that we love the entirety of us, the parts we like, the parts we don't like, the pimple on our nose that we try to cover up with makeup. The whole thing is us. And in Buddhism, it is recognized that the quote shadow and the shininess and everything in between is essential, because those parts of us that uh, in which which we judge, those parts of us that are not the one that we want the world to see, okay, those parts are in us as teachers. Those are the parts that we can learn from. And it's important just to start with, because a lot, in our teaching, we focus a lot on what we desire to experience. And so where we put our energy, and we know that what we focus upon expands in our experience. And so we sometimes, what happens is we try to crowd out or deny that there are parts of us that we're still working on. There are parts of us that, like the little song by Jai, some of his lyrics say, "Hey, there's a part of me that wants to grow. There's a part of me that isn't finished yet." Well, if you're still in this life, there's a part of you that isn't finished yet, because we're all here as students. We're all here working on it. And so those parts that we tend to judge as less than are equally important. They're actually essential to our wholeness, because they are our teachers. And I want to remind everybody that if we try to deny that some part of us is there, what is happening is we are denying or demeaning that part. And what happens as a result is we diminish all of us, because we're focusing energy over here trying to pretend that something doesn't exist, and we're kind of playing a Wizard of Ozzy kind of thing. So when we push away a part of us, we are wasting energy. We are wasting energy that could be used to develop, to learn from what we don't desire to be present, to learn from our experiences, to take the makeup off the pimple on our nose and say, there's a lot to learn there. So it's about being the whole self. And the whole self requires that we embrace all parts of it, and also calls us to love all parts, all other people, because some of them are the example of the part that we like in ourselves, and some of them are the parts that we want to alter, we want to grow through and learn from. And those are among all of the people of the world. Those are the ones that we also embrace. When we embrace our whole self, we embrace our whole world. So love is the givingness of spirit. Love is that power that gives us the ability, the strength, the endurance to embrace and accept all parts of us. We never ever want to stifle love, because if we stifle love, we are stifling life itself. loving the whole self and all others, we learn to fully become ourselves. And don't fret about it. I mean, it's a matter of embrace, learn, grow, and move on. And so when we worry, this according to Corey Tenblum, when we worry doesn't empty tomorrow of its sorrow. What worry does is take away the strength that we have in today. So it's important for us to look not only beyond appearance, but we need to look through appearance and align with and remember the spiritual truth. And that is we are each individuations of spirit. And spirit is perfect. So we as individuations at the spiritual level, we are pure, perfect, whole, and complete. And so oftentimes I'll hear people talk about guarding themselves. And when we really live into the spiritual truth that we are individuated spirit, then there is nothing to guard, nothing to heal, only that spiritual truth to reveal. And so I invite you to not allow yourself to give away your power by getting caught up in the swirl of how others may perceive you. There's a lovely old Serbian proverb that says, be humble, for you are made of earth, and be noble, for you are made of stars. You, in your wholeness, are everything. All of it goes together to be you. And so I want to backtrack in everybody's life to when we first come into this world. As infants, we arrive in our first relationship. The only relationship we have known is the womb, the creator, the coming into existence. And so we only know ourselves. And as an infant is moving into learning and all of that, it is in this marvelous discovery mode. It is about its body. It's curious. It's fascinated. Toes feel different than fingers. They're worth biting. I mean, all of these other things where we are totally experiential. And then we start developing our self-concept. The concept beyond this immediate one when we arrive in this world, or actually long before we arrive physically out into the world. And so as we are developing our self-concept, it is the collection of imprints that we've experienced. I want to take you on a bit of an imagination. Imagine that when you arrive in the world, you arrive in a pristine bubble. That is, it's absolutely, totally clear, the whole thing. And then the first touch, the first sound, each thing that happens, each encounter makes an imprint on that bubble. And if you think about it as a prism, when we are looking out, we carry these bubbles for our entire life. We are operating in our own, what started out as a pristine bubble. Each one of those imprints is like a prism or a facet. And so when we look out through that facet, that's the world we see according to that imprint. And so the infant doesn't know anything about flaw, anything about being less than. And so if you are thinking about your whole self as having flaws or less thans, what it is the result of those imprints, because we learned that there was such a thing as being flawed or by way of those imprints. We were taught that we are flawed in any way, because as a divine, spiritual, perfect being, we know there are no flaws. However, in our world of experience, those little imprints have happened to our own bubble, and they've happened uniquely in a way that has not happened to anybody else. So it doesn't matter, even with identical twins raised in the same household and treated as fairly as could be. No, each one has their own bubble. And so we have taken on the word of others that we are flawed. That's what happened when we were little bitty people. And instead of them being flaws, what if we acknowledge them only as uniqueness waiting to be recognized and loved? What if we took away the judgment? What if we took away the judgment that makes us think there is anything flawed about us? And so instead, what if we said, "Oh, welcome, my teacher," about anything that we have labeled as flawed, anything where we have brought our judgments, which have a tendency to reflect the judgments of others. Okay. And instead of saying, "Oh, this is what's wrong with me," what if we greeted them with, "Welcome, my teacher. What have you brought me today? What is here for me to learn today?" And I invite you to bring a sense of humor with it, because quite frankly, our humanity is quite comical if you step back. And I want to caution you. Sometimes people use humor to deflect. And I'm sure not going to look for a raise of hands of, have you ever done that? Because I don't want you to own that part. I want you to acknowledge that humor, a sense of humor, is a whole lot like the spray that you use on pans called Pam. It prevents stuff from sticking. Humor can raise you above, spray the pan. Hey, it happened. Stuff does. There are even some expressions about it, which I won't use here, but that stuff happens. And go back to, "Welcome, my teacher. What have you brought me today to learn?" And if we just stay in that balance of, "Oh yeah, it happened, and what can I glean from this experience? What can I have that shines a light on what I did or how I reacted." It doesn't matter, whatever was going on, that shines the light and says, yes, thank you. I can move through this. Now, in addition to humor, curiosity is so essential. Curiosity is so essential when we are loving our whole self, because curiosity calls us into surveying and sampling this boundless array of possibilities and creativity. We get to choose how we will deal with stuff that shows up. One that I love to do personally, this is one of my favorites, is when I find that I have reacted to something, and I've been working on this for a lot of years. Okay. And I adopted the practice of living undefendedly several years ago. And that's a good challenge if you want to take one on that will keep you in tow. Anyway, but one of my favorite questions, when something causes me to get that clench in the belly or to react, is to ask the question, what am I bothered by here? What in this bothered me? What caused me to go into judgment? Not what the judgment was, but what in me caused me to react? Was it a fear? Was it, did it align, maybe whatever happened in the outer aligned with one of my insecurities? What if it's attached? What if the current situation brought back instant recall of something that happened to me? When we use our curiosity to go underneath what is happening in the immediate, then we get to grow through it. We get to say, oh, that's the origin of that. It really wasn't about what happened today. It was the stuff I was carrying. And we have the option to put down what we were carrying so that we can be fully present right here, right now. A facet of that same question is, what can I learn from my judgment? What can I learn from my reactivity? What is here for me to learn? What are my choices? Because my choices, this array of possibility, and especially creative possibility, I have all of that right here in front of me as a possibility. I also, in looking in those stories that I may be been carrying that caused my reactivity, whose standard am I applying here? Is it really my own standard? Or is it maybe one that I've adopted from somebody else? Which immediately brings the next question, and that is, what needs to change? My judgment, my standard, what I think I learned, or am I even trainable? That's another, is if I am so caught in a swirl of reactivity, am I really being a good student? Am I being there so that I can actually grow on this spiritual journey? And of course, all of this comes around to, how can I benefit from doing this self-examination? This isn't about egocentricity where I just spin around and spend my life in there. It's how can I grow? How can I shift? What is here to learn? Welcoming my teachers so that I am better, more fully present, more authentically present in the present moment. Because it is from that loving the whole self, being authentic with the whole self, then I am more of a participant, more of part of the wholeness of the world. And of course, what do I need in order to be compassionate with myself? So to have empathy with myself. And so I invite you just for a moment, just a very, very brief moment. Is there any place in your life where you have not been compassionate with yourself, where you have been a heavy-handed judge? And so I ask you to now release that heavy-handed judge and review, that is, view again, re-see a situation, and take the shift back to, oh, welcome, my teacher. What have you brought me today? By always shifting back to that, welcome, my teacher, then the opportunity for us to grow, to release, to grow, to expand, to be fully, authentically present, then we have gifted ourselves with that, which is a lot less stressful existence. But also think about it, when we are in that level of presencing, what's different is how we are with the rest of the world. And when we are different with the rest of the world, then we're a facilitator of that journey, the journey of wholeness for the whole world. Sounds like a big assignment, and yet the more that we practice, oh, welcome, my teacher, and do the little questions of, what's bothering me? What bothered me to cause that? Why was I in judgment? Whose standard is it that I'm applying? Am I trying to live my life according to some external reference, or am I living it by the truth that I am a spiritual being? All these questions, they all come together. And so I invite you now into a moment of stillness, just a few moments. And so I invite you to take a deep breath, sidestep the fear, and begin speaking with yourself from a place of beauty and bravery. Within the chambers of, as Tempest Williams says, within the chambers of your quivering heart. Bring to mind your whole self. That whole self is all the parts you like about yourself, all the aspects. And it's the parts that maybe you have not loved. Now, I want you for a moment or two to focus on the aspects of you that you have not loved. And you may even be darting back and forth and say, well, I just don't like them. Okay. But have you actually overtly loved them? Have you loved them as your teacher, as your guide, in order to grow through them? So notice what's in there that you have not loved. Question. Why? What is it about that you have withheld your love? Listen to the internal dialogue that results. Learn from that internal conversation. Love those aspects that you have not previously loved, or that you loved and withdrew the love from. And breathe. Now expand your awareness so that you can let others love all of you. Breathe. Breathe into having others love all of you. The parts you love and the parts that from which you have withheld your love. Stop hiding your perfectly imperfect self. Breathe. Breathe deeply and fully, and gently open your eyes. And smile. The lyrics to the little song are, I love myself the way I am. And so I invite you to affirm that right now. I love myself the way I am. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? And so, in your own wonderful, perfect wholeness, take a couple of deep breaths, anchor it here, and join me in prayer for just a moment more. And so, as we come together in this prayer, what we are doing is we are anchoring the truth, the opportunity, the whole celebration of you. And so I recognize that there is only the one creator, that one absolute source of all, and that it is that creator that has sprung forth into and as all of creation. And so it is that creator that is expressing itself as each of you, each of us, all of us, everywhere, the whole thing. And so, knowing that divine truth, I now declare that I recognize as each of you everywhere, that you are that incarnation of the divine, that you are spirit, and that whole divine being that you are, the parts you like, the parts you want to change, because that's what this is about. It's the parts you love and the parts you want to change. And so I know that the divine power within each and every one is that power to make whatever is the desired change is already there. The universe has already said yes to the transformation, to the growth, to the expansion, to the full celebration, and to loving the parts from which you may have withdrawn love, withheld love, and to love it all into full bloom, full fantastic expression. And so I am grateful that I know that this is the power that each of us has, that we are all pre-equipped, ready, and able to make any such change because we have the power, the healing power of love at our disposal. And so when I declare the healing power of love, what arises in me is this immeasurable gratitude, to which I say yes. Just like the universe has said yes. And so from that place, I release this prayer, this affirmative prayer, this spiritual mind treatment into the law that has already said yes. And I invite everyone to join me as we say, and so it is. Yay! It is so. So, now is our time to move to our sharing of gifts. And I invite you, it sounds kind of silly because if you had a gift envelope, you might want to put your gift envelope over your chest. Well, since most of us do our giving now electronically, you may want to put your phone over your heart. And as you do that, you then can recite with me, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and supply and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center. My gift returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so we have lots of ways to give. And the ways to give are the easiest is the Givelify app on your phone or going online to Givelify. The instructions are there. The only thing is make sure that you specify Center for Spiritual Living Metro, since I so gleefully shared what Teresa had shared with us about this app with a bunch of other centers for spiritual living. You have to make sure you get that Metro to make sure it goes to us. And the other alternative is to go to our website and click the donate button or send in the regular mail. So thank you to Karen Drucker.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, so grateful, grateful, so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, grateful, so grateful, I'm so grateful, so grateful, grateful, so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so very grateful, so blessed, so grateful, grateful. And every day I start my day by saying how I'm grateful, grateful, I'm so grateful every day.
And speaking of grateful, we are so grateful to Karen Drucker for allowing us to use her music broadly. And so we like to make sure everybody knows when it's a Karen song so that you can take advantage of her other music as well. Next week, in our announcements, next week is a special week, and its title is Opening to Inner Peace, and we are joining in a consciousness of an honoring ceremony. A whole lot of, and you can certainly invite other people to please come join us. Many people have a challenge that arises around the holiday season, and especially when people they love aren't have passed on, or this year particularly, our year has been one weird year. And so we haven't had the physical connection with people we love. We have had to not be with others, to not have that social connection. Next week, we are going to follow or to honor all of that. And so it's a very special service that I know you will value. And it's designed for the honoring of you as you have come through this year. We have our weekday meditations and our Sunday morning meditation, and we receive prayer requests on our website. And this is also the perfect time for us to acknowledge with gratitude all the gifts that have been and will be shared with us through our various means. And so, Pat, if you will please bless our offering at this time.
I give thanks for knowing that I am the opportunity for the abundance of God to actualize. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
And so December 20th, we will be back with, that's our pre-Christmas, and so it's about wholeness shining bright, and want to remind everybody about the World Healing Meditation. I will be sending out the Facebook link for it. Because we can't be together doing our thing, what we are going to be doing is joining with the Heart of Peace meditation team from Centers for Spiritual Living, and I have the privilege of leading this year. And what we have is readers from various other countries. And I kid about it because we do have one from Texas, and I give Sherry a really bad time about, well, that's a different country too. And so, but most of our others are internationals. And so I'll be sending the Facebook link a couple of times here and there. Invite everybody to get on at about 1/4 and we start at 7 a.m. here. And it's determined by noon Greenwich time. So if you can use your smartphone and calibrate that, but it comes out 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then another just little plug, when I was at the Parliament of World Religions, when a couple of us were, Pat was there with me, and Jason and Mia. Anyway, when we were there, I met some really cool guys called Abraham Jam. That's their music group, and it's a trio. And what's very special about it is it's a Jew, a Muslim, and a Christian who came together and decided that they would sing together one another's music rather than, this one is this or that one is that. But they have done some really creative stuff. And that'll be on, I did send the link for it, and it's on at 4 o'clock this afternoon Eastern time. So cool guys, I think you'll enjoy. So I think that's all of our announcements, and I think we're good to go with some music.
PSL Metro, thank you, Karen Drucker, for the use of your amazing tune. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job's to be conscious, my path is forgiveness, my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Everyone has a story, everyone has pain. When we strip away our masks, we find we're really all the same. It's those little things we say or do that can mean so much. It's a smile, a connection, a simple love and touch. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job's to be conscious, my path is forgiveness, my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Take it away, Pete and Dan. It's like having you here with me. It's kind of like this. Here we go. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came running after. She said, Jack, tell me what I can do to help ease your mind. He said, hold my hand, just be kind, you will be just fine. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job's to be conscious, my path is forgiveness, my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. My religion
So wonderful. So with that, want to invite everybody to reach out your hand just as though we were in our circle, just as though we were physically together. And with this fabulous power of imagination, we can feel another person's hand. Feel that connection. Feel the warmth of that hand in your hand. Now we're going to fill our circle this morning with all of those we love. Put yourself in the circle. All of those we like. All of those we don't know yet. This circle's getting pretty full. All of those we probably will never have occasion to meet. Now bring up that powerful feeling of love that you know deep within you. Feel yourself to spilling over. Feel yourself to so full with that love that as it spills over from you, it is totally encircling, saturating everyone in our circle. Now bring that love and shower it over everything as well as everyone. All of the different expressions of the divine. We are using the healing power of love right here to heal the world and bring peace. And so now draw your hands to your own heart. Love yourself. And together we say, and so it is. And so we say goodbye to our Facebook family.